There was also quite a bit of bitterness coming from Team USA's coach Cheryl Reeves when she was asked pretty much any questions about Caitlin Clark. And she was asked if there was any second guessing from her on Caitlin Clark not making the team, and she very just spitefully says no. Doesn't elaborate on it, just says no.
For me?
Yeah.
No.
And it's funny to me how even she coached this game, because if you didn't think Caitlin Clark was the caliber of player that she is, then why would you feel the need to face guard her, to trap her, to...
What happens when a championship coach drops the diplomacy and picks up a flamethrower? You get Cheryl Reeve, scorching the earth with a clipboard in one hand and all-star outrage in the other. She just torched the Indiana Fever and every coach in sight over what she calls a voting travesty. And no, she didn't stutter. Forget subtlety. This was a masterclass in petty precision and unapologetic smoke. If you thought the WNBA drama was cooling down, Reeve just poured jet fuel on it. This wasn't a rant. It was a declaration of war. Buckle up.
I just finished watching the All-Star selection. I ain't never seen nothing like this before. Caitlin Clark is a menace, man. She literally kicked Cheryl Reeves off the team. This is my team. I don't yo, son. Cheryl Reeves, you asked for it. You asked for it. So now Sandy Brondello will be coaching Caitlin Clark's team, and Cheryl Reeves is going to be coaching the Fisa Collier's team. This is insane right here. And it's like, yo, Cheryl Reeves, I get it. You have the best record in the WNBA so far. You want as many plays as you can.
Cheryl Reeve could be solving world hunger and passing out Super Bowl tickets, and folks would still roll their eyes like she just asked them to fax a resume. Even when she's right, there's this unshakable stuck-in-the-past energy that follows her like a shadow. Her takes hit hard, but they land like a flip phone in a TikTok world. It's less visionary leader and more your aunt's still mad Jordan retired. Right message, wrong era.
Bruh, tell me y'all just saw Caitlin Clark destroy Cheryl Reeves on national TV. I know y'all saw free smoke, ayy, free smoke, ayy, free smoke, ayy, free smoke. Bruh, Caitlin Clark want all the smoke. Bruh, she just annihilated Cheryl Reeve on national television. I didn't see that.
Now she's throwing a fit over all-star votes like she just uncovered the dark secrets of democracy? Welcome to reality, Cheryl. The issue isn't the message, it's the messenger. When a longtime league insider starts ranting like a bitter Yelp reviewer, it doesn't feel like advocacy. It feels like ego bruised by a spotlight shifting elsewhere. Her team got outplayed, outshined, and outhyped by a franchise that finally has the world watching. And now, it just sounds like salt disguised as strategy.
So Cheryl Reeves, man, she came out stating how not only herself, but her players were kind of upset about the coaches' votes for the reserves, for the All-Star. Now, the crazy thing about it is, she's going to be coaching Caitlin Clark's team. So, I don't know how that's going to work with her coming out and saying what she said. I mean, who knows?
Oh yes, we're talking about that team, the Indiana Fever. The squad with 3 All-Stars and the audacity to breeze through the Commissioner's Cup like it was opening night on Broadway. Now suddenly, Cheryl Reeves' emotional dial is jammed on angry tweet thread, and it's all starting to sound like frustration dressed up as righteous fury.
The WNBA All-Star Draft was fun between Caitlin Clark and Fisa Collier, the team captains, picking the players, picking the rosters. But the most interesting aspect was the coach swap, because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team, to Collier for Sandy Brondello, the coach of the New York Liberty. Of course, Reeve is Collier's head coach for the Minnesota Lynx, so that makes sense. But the drama is going to come from Reeve having previously been critical on social media about the amount of attention Clark received relative to the rest of the...
There's a strange scent in the air when someone criticizes media hype, but somehow manages to amplify it by speaking out in public. It's like pouring water on a grease fire and then acting surprised when the flames leap higher, licking the ceiling. Cheryl isn't upset about fairness. She's furious because the spotlight used to naturally focus on her system, her rules, her players. And now? Now the light's shifted, and it's shining a little too brightly for her liking. Let's be honest, it's classic all-star envy. Nothing stirs the inner chaos goblin of the WNBA like seeing a team rack up 3 shiny all-star nods while hers gets, what? Applause for effort? Suddenly it's no longer just about basketball. It's about algorithms, justice, and the integrity of the game, whatever that means this week. When her players aren't selected, it's a systemic issue. But when her team wins, oh, then the system's working perfectly. Convenient, isn't it? The real sting? Watching her squad get outplayed by that same Indiana Fever team in a game that truly mattered, the Commissioner's Cup. Pilated trophy. Real stakes. And it wasn't just a fluke shot or a buzzer-beater heartbreak. No, this was a full-blown display of dominance. That's where the salt hardened into a Himalayan mountain. It's not the all-star votes that cut deep. It's the scoreboard.
Names are there, they're there. There's nothing no crying and whining is going to do about it. The same way you didn't give 2 shits about Caitlin Clark's fan base and all that. Don't nobody give 2 shits about your crying. You know what I'm saying? That you're coaching Caitlin Clark's team. I don't understand why you had to make it a big deal and say, oh, well, this team's below us to have more plays and us, and it's disappointing. And like, what are you talking about? Like, you already kept her off the Olympics. Now you're going to complain about her having more teammates than your plays on the court. This team. Embarrassing.
That loss wasn't just a dent to her pride. It was a televised blowout. Now she's spiraling, like someone who just discovered the neighbor's kid got into Harvard, while hers is still busy doing TikTok dances in the driveway. It's petty, it's juicy, and it's classic Reeve. Because nothing screams, I'm totally fine, like lashing out publicly over a popularity contest that, let's be honest, doesn't really matter. Except when it does. The WNBA is finally stepping into the spotlight, with rising ratings, new merchandise flying off shelves, and the Indiana Fever shifting from meme to movement. But instead of embracing the momentum, here comes Cheryl, wielding a megaphone, talking about balance and respect as if the league is about to be hijacked by 22-year-olds with Instagram sponsorships. Guess what? It already has. And it's thriving. Instead of riding the wave, she's stuck in the past, pretending it's still 2014, as if veteran coaches deserve a pat just for showing up in a pantsuit. This isn't about logic, it's about energy. The all-star roster wasn't filled by accident. It was fueled by buzz, by fans, by moments that went viral for a reason. You can't coach hype. And you can't game plan against momentum. Cheryl tries to play chess while everyone else is live streaming Uno, with millions watching. Every time she attempts to checkmate the new guard, they just reverse the draw for and send it right back. The league's evolution is unstoppable, and she's still trying to keep up, one move behind.
They asked Caitlin Clark, hey, Caitlin, are there any player trades you like to make? Nah, I'm kind of set with my team, but I would like to trade coaches. I like it. I don't know what's gotten into Caitlin Clark. You are leaning into this bad guy role. I love it. I don't know what's gotten into you, Caitlin Clark, but you've been on some I don't give a F lately. I love it.
And honestly, if her team had 3 all-stars, we wouldn't be hearing a single complaint. There'd be a parade, balloons, maybe even a LinkedIn post about culture wins. But as soon as the recognition bypasses her squad, suddenly we're in a crisis meeting about fairness and ethics. Please. The real emergency is the PR nightmare of pretending to be gracious while secretly seething over someone else's spotlight. It's always interesting how quickly teamwork and merit transform into rigged system when the votes don't favor her. The league system may have flaws, but only when it challenges the same tired power structures she clings to. The sport is evolving, finally grabbing national attention, yet heaven forbid that attention doesn't serve her ego. Cheryl isn't fighting for fairness. She's just uncomfortable with feeling irrelevant. And deep down, everyone sees it. There's a distinct bitterness to this kind of outrage, the feeling of watching the game change in real time and being unable to adapt or accept it. So she throws a fit. Because when your reputation relies on being the smartest person in the room, nothing stings more than realizing the room has moved on without you. The heat is rising, literally, and Cheryl is caught in a snowstorm of her own making. Watching her flustered over a list of names read at halftime is like witnessing someone argue with a touchscreen, futile and out of sync with the moment.
To mention being the coach of Team USA that Caitlin Clark was so famously snubbed from. Of course, Reeve wasn't a part of the official committee, but, some may believe she had some say in how all that went down. Regardless, the picking between the players was a lot of fun, and Caitlin Clark also wound up with all of the Fever members on her squad as well, meaning Aaliyah Boston, Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell will be a trio in Indianapolis for.
The WNBA is having a moment, and some people are so bitter they'd rather see it stall than celebrate the players pulling it forward. This isn't just sour grapes, it's a whole vineyard. It's grape juice, grape jelly, fermented into vintage wine, and somewhere, deep in her heart, she knows it. But admitting that would mean accepting that the game has passed her old blueprint by. That winning isn't enough anymore. That charisma, visibility, relevance, those matter now. And if your brand can't compete, no amount of screaming into the all-star void is going to change that. It's not a good look. It's giving 2007 called and wants its playbook back. So no, even if she's technically right about a few things, no one's listening. Because no one wants to hear the person who just lost tell you why the winner's not that impressive. That's not analysis. That's ego in a cheap disguise. And when the dust settles, the All-Star game will go on. The fans will cheer. The Fever will bask. And Cheryl Reeve? She'll still be there, trying to turn back a clock that doesn't care. The drama in this league is like a telenovela with sneakers. Every week it levels up. First, it's a missed call. Then it's an Instagram unfollow.
Caitlin Clark was supposed to be coached by Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve. Napheesa Collier was supposed to be coached by New York Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello. They swapped coaches. Cheryl Reeve, dodged the bullet. Thank God I don't need to coach Caitlin Clark, man. Man, I can't deal with that. I would have had to swallow so much pride, I can't do that. Fee, she probably called him the Fee, talk to Caitlin, please. I can't coach her, I can't do it. This book's about to come out. You know what they're going to be saying if I'm coaching Caitlin Clark and the book's out? Oh, God. Fee, please, Fee.
Now it's Cheryl Reeve storming out of the All-Star committee like she just found out her favorite soap got canceled. The WNBA isn't just about basketball anymore. It's a full-on circus of side eyes, passive-aggressive post-game interviews, and three-point daggers thrown with the accuracy of high school gossip. It's absolutely exhausting and somehow also wildly entertaining. But here's the twist that keeps getting lost in translation. All-Star Weekend is not a gritty playoff matchup. It's not film room breakdowns and defensive schemes. And the minute that reality sets in, suddenly the outrage over who got voted in feels like someone throwing a tantrum at a birthday party because their cake only had one candle. What Cheryl Reeve and others in her crusty echo chamber don't seem to grasp is that fans are not advanced analytics. They don't vote with stat sheets in hand. They vote with emotion, with loyalty, with hype. If the All-Star game were truly about performance, then great. Just run an Excel sort function, plug in the top 10 PRs, and roll the ball out.
Lads, we gotta talk about something right here. We have got to talk about something. Caitlin Clark just made the funniest All-Star selections ever. She just picked her friends. She made sure she picked no ops, as people like to call them. She made sure there were no ops on her team. If she's played with a player before, like Sonia Citron, she picked her. Gabby Williams, she picked nobody to tweet a negative thing about.
But that's not what it is. That's never been what it is. All-Star games are the democratic chaos of sports. You think the NBA's voting process was ever objective? Zaza Pachulia almost made it once. And yet here we are, watching a whole section of the WNBA world act like the league's honor code got violated because a few players with massive fan bases made the cut. The Caitlin Clark effect is real, undeniable, and frankly, keeping the lights on at this point. Her fans didn't just show up, they took over. They bought the jerseys, packed the arenas, and hijacked the All-Star vote like it was a political campaign. That's not cheating the system, that is the system. Popularity has always been the currency of All-Star games. And guess what? Caitlin's fans are rich with it. The uncomfortable truth for the Reeve regime is that Caitlin Clark's popularity isn't a glitch. It's a shift, a wave, a movement. You don't have to like it, but you do have to accept it. Because pretending this is about basketball purity when it's really about relevance, whiplash is just exhausting. The WNBA didn't suddenly get shallow. It got popular.
Reeve. So everyone that was concerned about Caitlin getting coached by Cheryl Reeve, we don't have to worry about that or anything. I wasn't necessarily concerned. I thought it would be funny that she would have to coach Caitlin's team with the Indiana crowd there. Knowing the history from, the Olympic team and everything like that, this is the funniest result possible. You put her back, with Team Collier. You put her basically on the road team. That crowd's going to be all in for Team Caitlin with all the fever.
And some folks just aren't built for that transition. Here's the problem with the merit-only argument. It assumes that All-Star Weekend is some sacred proving ground instead of what it actually is. A flashy, crowd-pleasing, mid-season break. If the All-Star Game was truly about who's best, we wouldn't even be having a vote. We'd hand it over to a panel of cold, joyless statisticians in a windowless room. But that's not fun. That's not the brand. The brand is vibes. The brand is who can sell tickets and go viral and bring eyeballs to a product that desperately needs more of them. And let's not pretend the league is too good for this. The WNBA has been begging for national attention for decades. Well, here it is. Loud, messy, opinionated, and completely controlled by the fan base that just arrived. You don't get to roll out the welcome mat and then complain when people actually walk through the door. The All-Star Game is a celebration, not a summit on moral basketball excellence. This whole debate feels like yelling at clouds while the sun is finally shining. The league is growing, ticket sales are booming, and media coverage is at an all-time high. But no. Let's center the conversation around a coach getting flustered because her players didn't make a list voted on by people who wear Crocs to games. It's misguided, it's out of touch, and it's not a good use of breath.
The coaches for the All-Star Game in Indiana has been set, and we have no other. And a lot of people had asked me, do I think that this was going to happen? And I didn't have no clue. And I didn't think it was going to happen, but hey, it has happened. According to Yahoo Sports, WNBA All-Star Game head coaches are set. Minnesota Lynx coach Cheryl Reeves will lead the team Clark, and the New York Liberty will coach Sandy Brondello will lead team Collier. Now, the reason why these two coaches have been picked because they are the two best.
The fans are driving the bus now, not the coaches, not the traditionalists, and certainly not the gatekeepers who can't seem to figure out how hashtags work. The moment the WNBA opened its doors to a new generation of fans, it became their league too. And they're not looking for lectures about defensive rotations. They want moments, drama, stars. And if that means the All-Star team looks more like a music festival lineup than a defensive-minded dream team, so be it. And right now, the Indiana Fever are magnets for attention. They could lose every game and still break attendance records. That's not because of wins, it's because of presence. And really, isn't that what All-Star is about? Who shows up? Who people show up for? If fans want to see Caitlin Clark chuck up logo threes while wearing bedazzled sneakers, that's what the game is supposed to deliver. It's not the Oscars of hoops, it's the summer blockbuster, and nobody buys popcorn to watch a spreadsheet. So enough with the self-important tantrums about deserving more respect. That's not how any of this works. Respect isn't issued, it's earned in the marketplace of attention.
Team's hilarious. And not only that, she traded her coach. Her coach. So she was originally meant to play for Cheryl Reeve. You guys don't know who Cheryl Reeve? She was the Team USA coach who basically has said a bunch of negative things on social media about Caitlin Clark, who had like a bad write-up in Christine Brennan's book, then deleted all the tweets and she deleted a bunch of tweets, said the tweets never existed in the first place, and basically basically is now saying Christine Brennan is up.
And right now, Caitlin Clark is Amazon Prime. The fans don't owe anyone a perfectly balanced voting record. They owe the league their energy, their money, their clicks, and they're delivering it in record numbers, just not in the direction some people were hoping. And the wildest part? This happens every year. Every all-star selection in every league brings out the same chorus of snubbed and robbed and travesty. It's tradition at this point. The only difference is now the WNBA is finally under a microscope, and not everyone was ready to be scrutinized. It's not neat, it's not always fair, but it is working. The league is hotter than ever, and the All-Star Game is a big reason why. So instead of dragging it into a lecture about respect and balance and stats, maybe just embrace the spectacle. Let the fans have their fun. Let the chaos reign. Because if there's one thing this league has earned, it's a moment to bask in the madness. Let the drama play out. Let the debates rage. And most of all, let the fans enjoy the show. Because in the end, that's who it's all for. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.